Hey Lawn Care Nation, in this video I wanted to talk to you about qualifying customers over the phone as well as minimizing wasted time while you're out doing quotes. Coming up. So hey Lawn Care Nation, in this video I wanted to talk to you about qualifying customer calls over the phone as well as minimizing the time that can be wasted while you're out doing quotes. Now before I begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you click that notification bell so that you're notified right away when I make videos like this that have the potential to make your business grow. Now, over the course of your lawn care business journey, you're basically going to be on a scale, kind of like a teeter-totter, where on one side you're going to be at the beginning of your journey in the you have more time than you have work. Towards later on in your journey where you're going to have more work than you have available time to complete that work. When you're on that beginning part of the scale, you're going to be eager to bring on as much work as you can. You're going to be eager to answer every single phone call the moment that that phone rings and talking to those clients. As you start to move along that scale and start to tip those scales where you start having more work than you have time available to you, the phone isn't going to be a very appealing part of the business. You'll start to recognize that you can spend a lot of time on the phone and not actually get any paid work done because you've spent so much time fielding calls on the phone and, like I said, dealing with a lot of people that in a lot of cases aren't actually serious about hiring you and are just looking or price shopping. So for me, that's exactly how my experience has been over the past 14 years, going into my 15th year now in my lawn care business, where I find myself now not as eager to answer calls as they come in. In fact, I try to avoid it now to actually pick up the call and answer. I'd much rather have a customer leave a voicemail message. And I try to, in almost 100% of the cases, divert them from even leaving a message and going directly to my website to book a job. Now, the reason I do this is because I'm taking that qualifying customers even one step further than just talking to them on the phone. I am going above and beyond that. I'm trying to avoid talking to them in the first place so that only those serious inquiries are going to go through with logging onto the website and putting in all of their personal information, their phone number, their address, and all of the qualifying questions that I put on there that basically gives me permission to go to their property. But if you're not at that point yet and you're still at the point where you need to answer the phone, what are some things that you can do just in your discussion with a customer to qualify them, to see quickly who you're dealing with and if they're serious about having you come out and do an estimate? So the first thing I would do is basically just give those customers as much information about your policies and your pricing that you can as possible. Now, I know obviously you're not going to be able to give them an exact price quote over the phone, and in a lot of cases that's what customers are looking for, but they'll use terms like what's a ballpark figure and things like that, and there's absolutely no real way of telling a person what the price of their property is going to be without looking at it. So instead, what you want to do is just be able to qualify them to the point so that you're coming to their property to do a quote. You'll find that right away about 50% of those clients that aren't serious are going to stop you right there. They just don't want you to come out. They think in some way that if you come out to their property, that is some way going to oblige them or commit them to using you as a service. So right away that raises red flags when they don't want you to come out to look. They just want a ballpark figure or anything like that. In that scenario, the only thing you can do is just offer that, hey, we offer free estimates. We'll be glad to come out and have a look at it. And you're under no obligation. But that sort of starts your testing of the waters to see if they're serious or not. If they seem like they don't want you to come out, then I would just cut your losses right there and thank the customer for calling and move on with your day. The next thing, if you get past that point and the customer is willing to have you come out and have a look at their property, is to continue to inform them on those policies. What are your policies? Try to suss them out on what their property is like. I talk to customers about things like I only offer a weekly mowing service. That right there, is my policy in my company. And if a customer is looking for a bi-weekly service, or they're just looking for a one-time service, or once a month, or every 10 days, then I know that that client isn't right for me. And it immediately right there stops and moves me on to going out and actually doing some work and earning some money, rather than continuing the conversation on the phone with somebody that's not willing to employ me for the service that I provide. If they're looking for a 10-day cut, that's just not what I do. So they're better off looking for somebody else, and you save both you and that potential client a lot of time. The other policies that I inform them on are things like my dog waste policy. I make sure that they're clear and that they know that the dog waste has to be picked up prior to service. Otherwise, there's animal waste surcharge. Again, I've had issues with clients where they already have, say, a dog waste removal company that comes on a certain day, and I know based on where their property is, what days I'm in that neighborhood, and if it's not going to work, say if I'm there on a Thursday in that neighborhood and that's the day I would go and mow that lawn, but they have their once a week animal waste removal service come by on Fridays, well, obviously those two are going to conflict. So the next policy that I'm always upfront with customers to qualify them with is the fact that I only take credit cards for payments. We don't do cash payments, and I don't take check payments. If a customer wants to sign on with me, they have to be able to give me a Visa or MasterCard number that I keep on file, and I charge them once a month at the end of the month for all of the work that is done. Again, this is something that helps pre-qualify you, because if you come up to a customer that, say, doesn't have a credit card or isn't willing to give you a credit card, then I know based on my experience in the past years before I took credit cards, of trying to track people down that are paying by check, of missed payments and late payments, that I'm not playing that game anymore. So if they're not willing to give me a credit card, again, save yourself both the time and aggravation, and just thank them for considering your company, but tell them unfortunately that is our only payment method, and move on. So as I alluded to earlier, I've taken this whole concept of customer qualification and taken it up an extra step. And for me, that means trying to avoid answering the phone at all in the first place. I let the phone go to voicemail. In my voicemail message, customers are informed that during the busy time of the season, I'm not able to come to the phone, and that if they want a quicker response, to head on over to my company's website to fill the request a free estimate page on the website, which basically takes them to a form. They put in their name, their address, they put what services that they're looking for. Of course, this can all be crafted. I can for example, with mowing, the only option for them to check off is weekly mowing. There's no 10-day or monthly or anything. That's the only thing that we offer, is a weekly mowing service. There's aeration, fertilizer, all the little extras and stuff. They can check those all off. It asks them if their backyard gate, if the estimate or work that needs to be done requires access to the backyard. If so, is the gate to the backyard locked during the day? And they check off yes or no. And then the next question is, if your work or estimate requires going into the backyard, are there any dogs loose in the backyard during the day? Yes or no. Basically, what this does is it gives me, or lets me know, obviously, their name, their phone number, their address, what they're looking for. It lets me know if they have a dog in the backyard and if the gate is locked. And that allows me, basically, it's giving me permission to go into their backyard unannounced to have a look at their property. And I also end the questionnaire there with saying there's a note there visibly that says, fill out the questionnaire or the form, the request form, and somebody will return your estimate within 7 days. So basically what I've done here is I'm shaping myself up so that I don't have to waste time going out to do estimates. As I mentioned earlier, I do specific areas or neighborhoods on specific days. So if I'm in one particular neighborhood and I'm mowing, and say a neighbor or something sees my trailer and then I leave, and maybe the next day they decide they want an estimate, they look me up, they decide to request a quote. Well, now for the rest of that week, I'm working in other areas, and I'm not going to drive all the way back to that first neighborhood just to do an estimate. That's a lot of unpaid, wasted time. So that 7-day window basically allows me, because I know that all of my lawn mowing is all weekly mowing, I know I'm going to be back in that neighborhood within 7 days. So basically, if somebody calls me and they leave a request there, that basically allows me to put that estimate off until I'm back mowing that particular house that customer may have seen me at. And when I'm there already in the neighborhood and done my mowing, I can then go and do an estimate. And I've got their permission to enter their backyard. I know that they don't have a dog loose during the day, and I can go peek over a fence, take a quick look, and then I email them a quote. So even if I'm in a situation where the customer maybe sees me and comes out to meet me, and they're looking for a price, I don't tell them the price right there and then. I just say, no problem. Is this the area that you want? If they're out there with me, have a look at it, quick walkthrough, and then I say, okay, great. I'll email you the quote this evening. And that's how I leave it. I don't tell them the price right there. Again, like I said, it saves a bunch of time. They're chatting, so it lets me cut that conversation short if I'm in a conversation. If I'm not in a conversation, the person hasn't come out, well, I'm there on my own. They've given me permission to come into the yard. I have a look at it, and I can then just email them the quote. They're then going to reply to that email and say, looks good, sounds good, and go ahead with the job. That right there is now giving me my confirmation that they've accepted that quote. The other thing on that quote sheet is going to have all of those policies, the weekly mowing, the animal waste surcharges, everything that I, have that encompasses my services all laid out there. So not only are they saying yes to the prices, but they're saying yes that they agree to those terms as well. And that basically, locks you in to a lawn care service agreement. So there you have it, Lawn Care Nation. Those are some of the ways that I have used to qualify customers over the phone over the years of running my lawn care business, as well as ways that I have been streamlining and putting systems in place to minimize wasted time doing quotes. On that note, if you'd like a copy of the email template that I use in my lawn care business, when I'm out doing quotes, I basically have this as a saved note on my phone. When I go and email that client, I basically open the note, copy and paste it into my email, and just change the prices around. It basically is all of my policies laid out, some of the core services that I offer, like lawn mowing, aeration, the most popular services that people request. So if you'd like a copy of the email template that I use in my own lawn care business when I go out and do those estimates, I give away a one-page PDF for those that join the Lawn Care Nation newsletter on my website. You can head on over to lawncarebusinesssuccess.com, and at the top of the page, you'll see the join the newsletter little entrance box there, and you can put your email address there, and you'll get a confirmation email and a link to download the one-page email quoting template that I use in my own lawn care business. So that's it for this one, guys. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below and let me know what ways you qualify customers over the phone in your lawn care business. So that's it for this one, guys. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.